What's up, what's up? I want to give you a quick business lesson for when you're building your business or whatever it is, right? And it's simple, but it's don't take things personally. I know a lot of entrepreneurs and creators, they get emotionally tied and invested in their products, their offers, their campaigns and all of that. And because of that, because they care, right? And a lot of people, they're invested because, they actually want people to succeed and they care about their products and their services and their integrity and all of that. And you should, and that's actually a good thing. But the problem that comes from that is often then you get personally invested in the outcomes and you take things personal. And so just a couple examples. One example, that I got customer emails, back-to-back emails, by the way. Okay, I emailed the list, and these are customers that have purchased. And one person was like, unsubscribe. Like, it's kind of funny when people email me back from a mailing list, unsubscribe, because there's the unsubscribe button at the bottom. So it's funny when people do that. But so that was one person. And the person above them, right, literally back-to-back emails, the person above them was like, oh my gosh, I accidentally unsubscribed. I didn't mean to. Hey, how can I resubscribe to the list, right? And so that's just back to back. And so you can see completely different responses to the exact same campaign, the exact same email. And you're going to get that no matter what when you are emailing the masses, emailing an audience, putting offers out there. There's going to be people in the camp that hate everything that you're doing because whatever reason. And there's going to be people that love everything you're doing for whatever reason. And your goal as the business owner, right, the entrepreneur, the marketer, is to just focus on the people that care, right? The people that you can help, the people that like your stuff. Don't try to convince the unconvincible people. And don't get offended when there's a group of people that are offended by what you do. You can't win over everyone. Embrace it. And so this, right, is a catalyst for me making content. And it also is just always a reminder because, I care about my stuff. And of course, I wish everyone loved my stuff. I wish everyone loved every single video that I did. I wish everyone bought everything that I sold when I sold it. But that's not the reality. People got things going on in their lives. They got other things they're worried about. And you never know when your email, your marketing, your ad, your content is being put in front of someone. Like they could have just had the worst day of their life and boom, there's your email. And for some people, that could be something that's a catalyst for turning that worst day into the start of something new, right? The start of the best day or a new path in their life, right? But for other people, it can be the thing that makes them enraged, right? Super mad and makes their worst day even worse. And of course, we don't want that. That's not the goal of the content. But it happens. It happens all the time. And it just is what it is. And so another example was I had someone that bought a product, right? I made an offer, they bought a product, and then they got mad because I had too many upsells, and so they asked for a refund. So of course I refunded them because they're within the refund period. That's why I have those in place. It's okay if people change their minds on things, right? And of course, when you're making products and things like that, offers and structures, you can totally set it up to where you don't have a refund policy, right? Or a guarantee or anything like that. That's part of the offer. And that can be really good for certain audiences. It can be bad, right? It just depends on how you want to present your offer and how you want to structure those things. There's not like necessarily a right way or a wrong way per se. It all comes down to how you want to do things. And make sure when you do things, like you stand by them. That's a key thing here for this stuff. But it's just really funny to see, right, the polarizing responses. So some people are all about it and other people aren't. And so the takeaway from this, right, don't take things personally. Know that some people are going to be offended. And sometimes more people will be offended than you expect, right? It happens. It happens when you put your ideas out there, your products out there, whatever it is. Sometimes you miss. And so the way to fight this is, again, don't take it personally. Always try to focus on who you can actually help, right? Who that ideal customer is, who you're building those products for, and pay a little bit less attention to the people that are complainers, the people that are chronic refunders, the people that are malcontents, that always have a problem, that always have excuses, that always, pay a little bit less attention. And in fact, you can actually polarize against those people in a positive way. It doesn't mean call them mean names or anything like that, but build that into your marketing, build that into your copy, and speak to the people who you want to take action and say things like, look, I know, maybe you have a ton of things going on in your life, right? But if this is something that interests you, or if you think this can actually help, you owe it to yourself to give yourself a chance, right? Because if you don't, you're going to see this message, and then you're going to go on, and if you don't take action, you're going to see the message, you're going to read it, you're going to be excited by it, and then if you don't do anything, you're going to go on with the rest of your day and nothing in your life changes. You're going to be in the same situation with the same problems, right? Doing the same things. And the worst thing that could happen is like a month down the line, 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line, you're in the same place. You haven't progressed. Versus if you at least take action and do something, right? It may work out, it may not. I hope it does, right? But then you're at least better off. You've taken a step forward to try and solve your problems and try to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. You can say things like that. In your copy, you can polarize against the people that are, malcontents, and you can say, hey, look, this program isn't for everyone. It's not for you if you're not willing to do X, Y, and Z things. It's not for you if you're a chronic refunder. It's not for you if you try to be cheap on your way to success. It's not for you if you think that you can get results without actually doing any work, right? And actually learning and growing and getting new experiences. If that's you, this isn't for you. But if you know that you need to put in the effort, do the work, and you're willing to do that, and you got the time to do that, you can accomplish this in X amount of hours per week. Things like that. There's all sorts of marketing lines and scripts that you can use to help track the people that you want and polarize against the other people. Now, it still doesn't always make it hurt less or sting less when you get that, angry email or whatnot. Just try to frame it in a positive light and be kind and be empathetic to the people, versus it's really easy to get bitter and hateful and grumpy towards those people. And it's really easy to mistake, right, the small percentage of complainers as actually a large amount of people. And the final way to combat this is just look at the data and focus on the process. So focus on the people you want to help, right? Focus on the process in which you engage to bring products to market, to get them in front of them, your creative process, your marketing process, your sales process, your content process. Focus on that process, and then look at the data and let the data tell you, hey, what's working, what's not working, what's getting results, what's not getting results. And so you remove kind of that subjectiveness and that personal attachment to it, and you start to get a little bit more detached, and you start looking at the numbers like, all right, what is actually getting results that actually matter? And that's the key. So, and that helps you avoid fixating on the negativity, because if you fixate on the negativity, you'll find it everywhere. There's the cliche saying, what you focus on expands. Or there's the other one that I love, is that it's your reticular activating system. And so that's the thing in your brain. So once you identify something that is of value or interest to you, you start seeing it all over the place. So like, let's say you're shopping for a new F-150, okay? And you're looking at F-150s, and all of a sudden you go outside and you're driving around and you start seeing F-150s everywhere, okay? That's not by accident. That's because you've programmed your mind. You've told it, hey, this particular thing is of value to me. And so your mind now has a filter when it looks at the world to find that thing, okay? And this is for so many different categories. Tony Robbins does a little like mini experiment where he says, hey, look around the room and find everything that is brown, okay? And then you look around the room, find everything that's brown. And then he's like, okay, well, how many red things did you see in the room? And you have to think back, and you're like, oh, maybe. And maybe there's some red things. And then, you name something, and he's like, how many of those red things were actually kind of like purple or like, burgundy and not actually red, but you said red, so it felt like you found something, right? So our mind is a pretty incredible and powerful thing when you tell it what to focus on and tell it what to fixate on. And so you have to be careful, and you have to be strategic on what you tell your mind to focus on, okay? And so if you're always focused on the negative, right, the bad feedback, I'm not saying don't hear it, don't see it, right? But make sure you adequately compartmentalize that and focus on the positive things, right? And don't take feedback, especially when you're looking at the numbers, don't take that as negative, take it as an opportunity and data that you can use to then make better decisions, better products, better marketing, better copy, and things like that for the future, so that you can get more results for your business and you can help your customers get more results for whatever they're trying to get results in, depending on whatever you're selling. So that's my marketing and business advice for you. If you want to learn more about this stuff, I recommend checking out my book, Send It, Master It. This is all about AI and how to work in the AI world. Even if you don't like AI, I highly recommend that you read this book, because it could change your mind, or at least give you some new perspectives on that, because this is tied into all of this, where so many people have this negative perception of AI, right? And there's some bad things about it for sure, and some things to worry about it. But if they hold on to that view or that lens of AI bad, they're gonna miss out on all the opportunities and benefits and things they can do with AI today that can move them forward in a meaningful way to get from where they're at to where they want to be. So definitely check this book out, or join the arsenal below if you want to dive deeper into monthly trainings and lessons and updates on what's actually working in AI to produce real value and real results, not just video game results. So that's it for this one. Subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.